Isn't it grass is always greener pitch? Because it's not. You may not enjoy living in Cambridge or living in Mississauga or Milton, but right now the shift is happening. People are leaving Brampton or the GTA and they're going west.
If you watched my last video, why everybody is leaving Brampton, you know the response. It was massive. Thousands of you actually tuned into the video. Some agreed, some pushed back, but almost everyone started asking me the same thing. Where is everybody going instead? Well, today I'm answering that question with you with one specific city that's gaining quite a bit of momentum right now. Families, first-time sellers, move-up buyers. Let's talk about Brampton versus Cambridge. My name is Mike. I help families move across the GTA. So if you ever have any questions, you can always text me at the number here on screen. And if you're a Brampton homeowner who's been thinking, it just doesn't feel worth it anymore to be living in Brampton, you're not alone. Last video proved that. And if you've been eyeing other cities, wondering if the grass might be greener, this video is definitely going to speak to you. Today I'm going to break it down why Cambridge is pulling so many families away from Brampton, what you get for your money in each city, and whether the move makes sense for you. So today we're going to go over all that and we're going to break it down here for you. So let's start with Brampton. I said it in the last video and I'm going to say it again here. Brampton is not cheap anymore. We all know that. The fact is, it's become one of the more expensive cities in the GTA on the West End, and what you're actually getting for your money might not make sense for a lot of people anymore. Although the prices have changed in the last couple of years and become slightly more affordable across the board, it still isn't the most affordable option for a lot of people. There's a few things I commonly hear from sellers over and over. I'm tired of fighting for space. I feel like I'm paying a premium price to be in a place that I'm not actually enjoying as much anymore. I want my kids to grow up somewhere that's just a little bit quieter and has a lot less traffic. And they're not wrong. At the end of the day, the average detached Brampton home still is around that $1 million mark, give or take. And you're often looking at homes that still aren't perfect. They need some renovations. They might have a little bit of a smaller lot. They're clustered in extremely dense subdivisions. And don't even get me started. The traffic in Brampton, I definitely say a prayer every moment I hop into Brampton. If you've ever tried to get across Steeles, Queen Street, Boulevard during rush hour, you know exactly what I mean. It can take you an hour to get across Brampton, and it's just not a fun time. But here's what's really interesting at the moment. It's not the buyers who are frustrated as much, it's the sellers as well. Because when you go to list your home in Brampton, suddenly you're up against a lot of inventory because there's tons of inventory on the market. And if your home doesn't shine above the rest, it's not priced perfectly, it's still going to sit there for quite some time. And it's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're ready to move on and maybe leave a city that you've spent a lot of time in. So enter Cambridge at this point. It's 45 minutes away. It's just down the 401. But for many people, especially if you grew up in Brampton, it feels like a whole new world. But I'm going to paint you guys a little bit of a picture here. There's quieter streets. There's much bigger lots. You have more space. And in many cases, less money is needed to actually buy a home. Now, that's not every neighborhood in Cambridge, but that's a lot of what you're going to find out this way. In Cambridge right now, you can find move-in homes that are detached from $700,000 to $800,000. That's not outside of the realm of possibility right now. Something we haven't seen in Brampton for quite some time, unless it's an older home that needs a full renovation. But it's not necessarily just about price when you're buying a home. A lot of it ends up being about lifestyle. Neighborhoods in Hespeler and East Galt are blowing up for younger families that we see out here. You've got trails, you got parks, you got a beach, you got schools that are actually walkable. And at the end of the day, it's a growing community, and it still feels like that in a lot of areas in Cambridge. But you're not losing out on anything out this way. You do have access to Costco, you have access to all the groceries, all the amenities, all the things that you have everywhere else are in Cambridge. You're not in a different world. You're only 45 minutes down the highway from Brampton. I had a client say to me the other day, Mike, it's starting to feel a lot calmer here than I thought it would compared to living in Brampton. And that sums it up in the big picture here for me. It's not perfect here. We're going to talk about that in a second, but it's definitely more peaceful. And for families, that is just the dream they're looking for. They're looking for a little bit more peace in their hectic daily lives. So now we're going to talk about the numbers. I'm going to show you guys on screen here what you can actually get in Brampton for around $900,000 to $950,000. We've got this property that you can see on screen here, 40 Calmus Crescent. It's been on the market for just a short period of time here, 4 days, $899,000. It's a 3-bedroom home plus one, so that could be a den, an office, and then you also have 3 bathrooms in this property. And when we're talking square footage, under 1,500 square feet for this property. Property tax is 4,800 and change here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of these pictures and what this actually looks like. So as you can see here, we do have, you know, 2 wide driveway for your cars. You could easily fit 4 cars on this driveway. You have your garage that doesn't actually enter into the home. It enters just on the side of your entrance pathway there. And this is kind of what to expect in this price range in Brampton. You're not going to get a lot worse, but you're not going to get much better either. They've done a little bit of renovations here. I didn't want to show you something that fully needed to be redone, but we're going to just kind of breeze through these pictures. Obviously, you know the address. You can pull it up as well online. I'm on a public website for that specific reason, so you can get in there and take a look yourself. But this isn't something that wows me by any stretch. It needs some work, there's no question. It's got a smaller lot. It has some pretty big frontage at the end of the day, but it is a single car garage. Now, if you're looking in something in the Cambridge side of things, I wanted to show you guys what you can get similar size for your money. So we're looking at this property here, 68 Wheatland Drive, $799. It's been on the market since April, which means $799 is probably negotiable as well. So you might not be paying $800,000 for this property. In terms of square footage, I wanted to make sure it all matched up here. So we have under 1,500 square feet. You have $800 less a year property tax. So all of this is starting to look pretty reasonable. Now let's take a look at what the inside of the home looks like. Driveway in this case, I'd say the Brampton one has a better driveway. So if you have 4 to 5 vehicles, that makes more sense. This one, you might be pressed to fit 4 cars on that driveway. Now let's take a peek. The inside, it has a wider entrance, absolutely. The finishes, it's not as renovated as the Brampton one, but it still looks quite nice. It's got the, you know, laminate countertop, but it does have the white and bright, which a lot of people are loving still in today's day and age. You have an eating kitchen, you got a little seating area where you can get your TV all set up and just enjoy with your family. As we head upstairs, you do have some carpet, which the other one did not have, but enough space. The basement here doesn't need as much work as that Brampton property did. Neither of them are dual income properties that need any additional income, or rather will get any additional income for you. This one, obviously you can see here, we could use a fence on the other side of that property. I would probably want one myself if I had a pet. Now, nice looking property, backs onto a home that has some beautiful trees as well, so that'll kind of make it feel a little bit more like you are living in nature. Now, we're talking $100,000 difference. We're talking $800 a year property tax difference right now for similar space. So these are numbers you might need to crunch and figure out, hey, maybe I'm driving a little bit more, but am I going to spend that much more when we're talking $100,000 plus your, you know, property tax, plus all the other things, and having more space, potentially more of a neighborhood feel? These are things that a lot of people are at this point trying to consider. Before you jump online, book your moving truck, start to go to Cambridge, it's not without its challenges here. We have to talk about the limitations if you are going to go this direction. Transit here is very limited. There's no GO train, so if you commute daily to Toronto, it's a stretch. I'm probably not making that move myself. It's quieter, it's slower. Don't expect nightlife, commercial density, things like that. The job market here is still growing. There's a lot of automation companies out here in Waterloo. There's a lot of tech. And if you work remote, that's probably the most ideal for you. But if you're looking for big city opportunities, you're likely going to still have to commute around. You might not be working directly in Cambridge. That said, for the right family, Cambridge could be the perfect landing spot for you, especially if you work hybrid, you have kids that are young, you want a mix of community and affordability, of course. So who is the move for? At the end of the day, who is doing this move? Brampton homeowners who feel squeezed. They want to be less frustrated and get more value for their money. You want more space, more peace, and more community at the end of the day. And you have to be okay with a longer commute in and out of the city if that is a place that you spend a lot of time. So that may sound like you, and if it does, Cambridge should be on your radar as a potential option if you're considering leaving Brampton or an alternative to Brampton. But if you do still have your roots in Brampton, don't let all these videos scare you out of Brampton, but just encourage you to kind of look outside the box. You want to be close to your family, close to work, close to schools. This is all part of the big conversation. So all of these videos are not a blanket statement for everybody. They're not advice to run away from a specific city. Rather, they are to give you more options out there. This isn't a grass is always greener pitch, because it's not. You may not enjoy living in Cambridge or living in Mississauga or Milton, but right now the shift is happening. People are leaving Brampton or the GTA, and they're going west a lot more frequently than you would imagine. And I want you to be informed before making any big moves. So if you are thinking about making that move, you can always reach out to me, have that full conversation, shoot me a text if you want. At the number here on screen, you can always book a private appointment with me, and we can have a no pressure conversation on what is going through your head. What areas are you considering? If you're thinking of selling your Brampton home, maybe curious about Cambridge, curious about Waterloo, Milton, we can have that conversation and see what really makes sense for you and what you can get for your money. And if this video was something that provided you value and you want to watch another one here, and you haven't already watched why people are leaving Brampton, you might want to check that one out here. It was a very, very popular video for us, and it'll give you the full context on what's actually driving the trend of people getting out of Brampton. And you can check out the other video I've got here as well, the GTA cities that buyers are more often moving to, and Cambridge, of course, is one of those cities. So thanks so much for watching this video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.